Well, some of our churches down south have adopted a formula of the message that would explain Brother Branham's teachings in a little more philosophical way. Some of our young people find that Brother Branham's hillbilly way of speaking rather difficult at times to follow.
Brother Dennis, this message is about the most unphilosophical message there is.
Exactly my point. Sometimes I often find myself wishing that Brother Branham would just speak a little bit more clear and on certain events that he would refer to.
Like what?
You know, is Brother Branham's loose way of storytelling, misinformation of dates and times and numbers that has really opened up the door to these groups on the internet finding mistakes in his teachings and digging up the fact that there really is no proof to back up some of his stories. That many healings were exaggerated.
Brother Dennis, let me tell you something. As a believer of this message, I couldn't care less what those unbelievers on the internet are saying. They're not worth being dignified with an acknowledgement.
Well, I agree with you to a point, but the fact is, you don't know those things, but our youth does. And how are they supposed to respond to it?
They're to respond to it the same way Jesus did. It is written, God's prophets make no mistakes. That's the end of it. If you argue with that nonsense, they'll have you arguing all night long. Just ignore it and move on.
I believe that you are missing the point, Brother Stan. The fact is, our youth are already struggling in the first place.
But why are they struggling? That's the question. You're not saying the problem is with the young people. You're saying the problem is with the message. I'm not stupid, Burton.
What kind of a pastor would you be to ignore something that is destroying the faith of your youth?
I'm not. I'm doing everything I can to hold this church and these young people together. But what you're saying is ludicrous. To think that the message needs a crutch or some little cleaning up in order for our youth to get anything out of it. If they got the Holy Ghost, they would know exactly what Brother Branham is saying. In fact, sir, the only faith destroying around here seems to be coming from you.
You know as well as I do that Brother Branham talked in riddles sometimes and didn't even understand some of his own visions. How are the children then to understand?
This conversation's going on. I think it's best I leave.
Brother Stan, I didn't mean to offend.
Thank you for dinner. It was great. One last thing. You say Brother Branham's hillbilly language is hard for today's youth to understand? If they would get their noses out of their phones and tablets, sit down and pray and listen to a message long enough till God would open up their eyes to it, they wouldn't have a problem. But it seems strange they never mentioned that to me before. My honest opinion, Dennis, is that you're a liar. You know nothing about my young people. But I think the kids that go around and talk about selfies and LOL, homeboy, kid, like a boss, beast, sit tight, cool, wicked, YOLO, jacked, cracked, and all this stupid way that they talk today. And then you have the audacity to say they have a hard time understanding a hillbilly from Kentucky? That's just plain stupid. Good night.